November 2025. I was 23 years old, waking up and looking at my abs in the mirror for the first time in my entire life. Each and every morning felt like a dream. You ask why? Because just 7 months prior, in April 2025, I was 22 years old and 88 kilograms, being a fatty my whole life till that point. All this time, I legitimately thought I was doomed to be chopped. It turns out I ain't really that chopped, I was just carrying way too much fat. And if you're wondering what made me suddenly commit to this whole process, the breaking point happened in a car ride back home after a chill day with my boys at the sea. We had spent the day swimming, and on the ride back, me sitting in the passenger seat as a fatty passenger princess started talking to my Pookie. Shout out Pookie, who's been tracking his calories for the last 5+ years. And at some point, the conversation took turn to my success with fine shits, so to say. And he hit me with something like, bro, if you just lose all the fat and finally look good, maybe you'd start pulling some fine shits and stop being a fat bastard. Mind you, we are barely 10 minutes into the 1 hour Bomboclat drive and I'm already catching shades left, right, up, diagonally. So at that point, I had two choices: either get defensive like a pussy or take the reality check on the chin. And thankfully, I chose the second option like a man. That single moment sparked an 8 month cut where I dropped from 88 kilograms to around 66, 67 kilograms. If you're wondering how I got to 88 kilograms in the first place, then I would have to take you back to when I was 19 at my peak weight of 102 kilograms. I was very depressed and out of shape. A friend of mine who is built like a tank convinced me to try Muay Thai in this one particular gym in our city. I went there, and the first day we had sparring session, I fell in love with the sport. I immediately signed the contract and I was there for like the first 3 years. Then I moved to another gym, but it's a whole another lore. I'm not gonna put everything in this video. I'm just gonna say I started going to the Muay Thai gym and doing Muay Thai almost every day, and I lost weight till like 86, 88 kilogram range. And I just stayed there. I wasn't losing any more weight because I would just eat good. Eat good, sleep good, train good. Eventually, as university picked up and I had to focus on getting my bachelor's degree, which I got finally, thank God, I drifted away from fighting over the years and leaned towards street lifting, basically weighted pull-ups and dips. And for 3 years, from 20 to 23, I spammed weighted dips and weighted pull-ups 3, sometimes 4 times a week, alongside Muay Thai training as well. I went from adding plus 10 kilograms to pulling and dipping to plus 45 kg for 3 reps by the age of 23. And by that time, I already stopped sparring and I started focusing completely on lifting, working, and studying. No leg days, no shoulder work, no bodybuilder split, nothing like that. Just heavy street lifting. It was my productive escapism, if you may call it that way. It cleared my head from life stress in a way. But here was the problem: while I was still building strength, I was also eating ridiculous amount of calories. I was getting my protein in, but with extra unnecessary amount of calories as well. I have built enough strength and muscle, but no one could see any of it with all that fat covering my body. Let's get to the most interesting part, which is the 250-day grind and the mistakes that I did. At the starting point, my maintenance was 2,700 calories. I started my cut at 2,000 calories for the sake of easier math. 700 calories is a little bit too much deficit. With everything that I know right now, I would have started with 2,200, but it is what it is. To keep the story as easy as possible to explain, I will divide it into two phases. Phase 1 would be pure monotony. Months 1 till 4, I would just eat the same things every day, same meals. I would try to eat as little as possible, or ideally nothing, in the first half of the day, and reserved as many calories as possible for evening. And it would be the same meals: frozen pizza with extra chicken breast on it for extra protein, chicken breast with fries, chicken breast with wedges, all those combinations. But it would be the same meals every day, so I wouldn't think about it. Phase 2 would be the plateau and everything that came after the plateau, which was already coming to the region of being very lean, very, or almost shredded. So at 73 kilograms, the weight loss stopped with 2000 calories, and I refused to eat less than that. So I spent month and a half, the whole September and like the first 2 weeks of October, I was wasting time with inconsistent cardio, trying to create more energy deficit. At the end of the day, my body came back to homeostasis. I just wasn't doing any more cardio on a consistent basis. So at some point, I gave in. I went down to 1,900 calories, stayed there for 2 weeks, then went down to 1,800 calories, stayed there for another 2 weeks. Then my patience ran out. It was all like December. I was like, we're doing 1,600, and I stayed there for 2 weeks, a little bit more than that. And at the end, I stopped at 66 kilograms, and I looked the most fucking shredded I could have looked at that point. I was seeing so many muscle fibers. I was seeing so many striations. I've never could have imagined that I had them. And although my strength took a hit with that little amount of energy, the way that I looked in clothing, without clothing, it was just completely different. I was in appropriately fitting clothes. I would come over as a bigger guy than before when I was fat, when I was objectively bigger. Okay, so 250 days and 22 kilograms lost. What are the costs of such a journey? On the negative sides, you got muscle flatness. When you're in a prolonged deficit, your glycogen stores in your muscles are depleted, so they will temporarily look flat. It will all normalize the moment you come back to eating maintenance calories. The second one would be libido and energy. By month 5, in my case, I started feeling the decrease in my libido and no morning wood or barely any after some time. Your body enters survival mode. It cares about keeping you alive than giving you enough energy to clap cheeks. Don't panic, it returns the moment you eat at maintenance. It's all temporary. On the bright side though, we can talk about mental clarity. Running half hungry cleared my brain fog. I was 50 to 20% more productive, wasted less time scrolling, and approached my work with real intent, or I was doing the same things but with more mental clarity and enjoyment. Okay, what's the aftermath of this whole journey in general? Looking back, the biggest lesson from my first cut wasn't about tracking calories, calorie deficit, blah blah blah. It was about my own psychology and the gaps in my behavior. And by that I mean I realized that my mindless eating was just an escape mechanism because I lacked meaningful tasks to fill my day with. I lacked any type of purpose or something I was striving towards. The deficit forced me to raw dog my stress and boredom without using food as a coping mechanism. Fat loss is very simple. It's hard to lose fat, but the process in itself is very simple and it's very, very boring. It's stacking the exact same deficit day after day until the results compound. Once people saw the transformation and started asking how I did it, I put together a simple ebook breaking down my MyFitnessPal logs and diagrams, how my weight changed, and real pictures of what I ate and how my routine looked like. Because at the end of the day, you don't need magic, you just gotta want it bad enough. That's what it matters. That's what I understood. Everyone wants to look good, but there's only a small fraction of people who really want to look good and they are willing to do everything that it's needed to look good. Also, by everything, I don't encourage any of that looks maxing shit. At most, I advise soft maxing, which I'm doing myself, which is just lose weight, pack on some muscle, grow out your hair, take care of your hygiene, basic shit which can take you so far, dress the appropriate way, and none of the modern looks maxing shit because that shit's getting out of hand. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you're interested in any of the other lores that I mentioned, let me know. I will make videos about that either way, I guess. If you also think that I could help you with your first cut as well, let me know. DM me on Insta. If you watched till this point, I don't know what to tell you. Thank you, and I mean more than thank you, and I really hope to see you on my next videos.